Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Asia Pickleball Insider. I am your host, Steve Claudio, and I am joined alongside the one and only.
Rob Nunnery. And I'm not eating anything. Apparently, I'm getting some flack about eating stuff on on camera. Gotta eat. I'm busy. Gotta eat.
Yeah, you get your one and only title back from James. He took it from you last week.
The one and only Ignatowicz. That was a fun episode, though. Got some good insight.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. James is now in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken, exploring around Asia. Speaking of exploring around Asia, you left us. You're not in
I
Asia
left you
anymore.
not in Asia. Not for the moment. For the moment, I'll be back. But yeah, I went from India. Man, it was a long trip. But I went from India to Nepal for a second. Then I went to China, Chengdu, Luzhou was where the CPC tournament was, which was cool to see, cool to play, super chaotic. It was wild. It was extremely cold, like in Celsius, probably like, I don't know, like a little over freezing, like 3 degrees maybe, something like that. Playing outside on tennis courts, which is nice, except it's not tennis courts. It's a rollout court on top of a tennis court. Which, when I told you that, Migo, you had a really good response. You're like, okay, well, wouldn't it be better to keep that service and just use tape? And I was like, yes, absolutely would. And that's what I've said over and over. And then they said it was because of the live stream. It would look better on the live stream with a real court. But the only court being live streamed was on hardwood floor indoors. And so why not just use tape on the outside courts? Anyways, so you had that happening, the bounces. And it's not like I've played on a lot of rollout courts where, it's fine, but the bounce is just a little lower. This was like the seams where the mats meet were just completely dead. So you had so many dead spots on the course. It was just really tough to navigate and play, and not really very like suitable conditions for prize money type tournament. And then layer in the paddle situation, which again, it removes skill. It removes like it being pickleball anymore. It's just, especially the like cold temperatures, the ball's flying, and with the paddles that are just utterly illegal anywhere other than, you know, China, I
Okay,
guess.
they can't see it. They won't see this. They don't have you.
Exactly. We're fine. You can say whatever you want, Rob. You could just let it go. No, it was just super chaotic. It was cool to see, and like they did a good job in respect to like building the tournament up. They had like a nice stage and like nice little village area, and format was a little crazy too. Format was they do every single event in one day through group stage and then through the quarterfinals, and then the next day. So it's just a Saturday, Sunday. So they have to fit everything into 2 days basically. And
Okay.
they don't do just knockout, and then like they do group play for each event, and then they do knockout for each event, and then they do the semis and finals, I think, on Sunday. But like you don't really have a schedule either. You kind of do, but it's like you'll play a match, then you might wait for a long time, and then it's like, okay, well, can I go to the hotel to like, get warm? And it's like, yes, but then like they call me and it's like panic. They're like, you're about to get defaulted because you're not on court. I'm like, but you just said I could go to the hotel. What do you mean I'm about to get defaulted? So it's just like chaotic, and there's not like, and maybe some of it's the language barrier for sure. That's probably a piece of it. But regardless, was fun to do. Was fun to see like some new spots in China. Yeah, I'll probably do some more CPC. Hopefully in warmer weather, and hopefully I have a much more legal paddle that Ram Sports could put together for me. Can Frankenstein together a absolute monster of a paddle? I'll accept it.
The Typhoon China edition.
Yes, exactly what we need. It's exactly what I need. Seriously.
Oh man. So just for those outside Asia, like what exactly there's no governing body in China that checks or studies for the tournaments.
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Yeah, I,
They
I
have
I
the
don't know. I don't even know who ran this tournament. I just know I have my contact, my guy Leo, and Leo's the man. To be fair, he's got good English. He's like, "What's up, bro?" I'm like, "My guy." And Leo's awesome. He took care of me. He made sure that I got around. I knew what was happening for the most part, and it didn't feel like he had very much control over much of anything. But he was my guy to like help navigate stuff for me. But yeah, I don't know who ran the tournament actually. I don't know who the governing body is. I don't know what the rules and regulations are necessarily. We also played games to 21. Um
Side out?
like traditional side out scoring, but to 21. Which was like why not just play like a normal match? But again, you go to somebody else's tournament, you do what they say. So that's what I did. I did what they said. Had lots of opinions about all of it and how it could be better, but you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
When in
Yeah.
China.
I think every tournament is trying to figure out their own structure right now. It's definitely not set in stone quite yet, I think, especially internationally, on
Yeah.
how games, how tournaments should be run. Like even when you played in India, you were playing 21 rally, no freeze. I remember you
Yeah,
saying,
for the team event. I don't love that either. I think you should have to win on your serve.
yeah, it's definitely it's cool to see different scoring formats, but definitely if we want pickleball to grow more and more people to understand the sport, it would help to have a consistent. Like you don't see tennis with people using different scoring systems very
Not
often.
often. They have some random like events, but like if you go to a tournament, you know exactly what you're going to get, like in terms of scoring. They might have some like specialty exhibition type events where they do weird stuff, but that's an exception. This feels like real tournaments with real prize money. There's different formats all the time, and you're right, it does get confusing. And then on the Indian side of things, it's like, the week before, or maybe 2 weeks before I went to India, there was another league in Delhi called the Indian Pickleball League, which got put together really quick. And then you had the Global Sports Pickleball League. And in January, you have the World Pickleball League, which is also in Mumbai. So, and all of these leagues have different teams with different names, with different cities. And it's like, could we make it any more confusing? Probably not. Like, we're doing a pretty good job of like, if we want people to really not understand what's happening in pickleball and have very little like continuity of players and teams and understanding of like what's what, we're doing a good job because nobody has any damn clue like who's on what team and what team is on what league.
Yeah. I mean, the Philippines isn't doing much better. I'm playing the Philippine Pickleball League in a few weeks. I have no idea what the format is. Granted, they have a good website, so I can probably just check it there. But for most tournaments here, I'm gonna have to find the page's Facebook. They're not gonna have a website. I'm gonna have to re-download Facebook on my phone. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
search for their page, scroll down the timeline to try and find the four PNGs buried under a cover photo. Find
Yeah.
out if I'm playing rally scoring or side out, and to what score, and if I'm switching sides. Yeah, it's
Sounds like they need you to run the tournament, Migo, because you were an excellent tournament director.
in a few months. This is still my break. I'm enjoying my break. I'm enjoying
Yeah,
my
that's
my
fair.
off season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
of off
fair.
season, actually, that the transition, the brain's working tonight. I think I'm better at the nights
Okay.
and recordings.
That's
Speaking of off
interesting.
season, lots happening in the
Yeah.
pickleball off season. So there's a lot of rumors going around of, well, pros contracts are ending. You've seen a lot of pros contracts end. You've seen, QD is leaving Saipik. You have rumors of where Annalie is going. You have Deckel Bar signing with 11624, I think. You have Eric Onseen's going to Engage. You have a whole bunch, but more focusing on the Asia scene. QD leaving Saipik after 7 months, kind of a shock to,
Yeah.
I think, a lot of people. Like, what? I mean, I kind of saw his deal with Saipik being a long-term thing, but with how fast Saipik's grown, it's already the biggest Vietnamese brand in the world.
Yeah.
I guess they already got their monies out of it, or they already got their values worth. Like they don't necessarily need him moving forward, is the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's if we step back here and look at all of this from like the 30,000 foot view of what paddle companies are paying players and are they doing that for like before pickleball I had a direct to consumer advertising business. So what I would do, it was like very little brand awareness. Like I didn't care about like growing the brand of what I was selling. I was focused on getting that customer for as low cost as possible. So how do I just acquire that customer? How do I get that person to literally pull out their credit card and buy this right now? Like that was kind of the metric that I was looking at. And at what cost can I do that? And I think brands look at it different, right? They look at like, okay, well, how much awareness will I get from this player? But also you have to, if you're one of these brands, you have to look at are you getting an ROI? Are you getting new customers because you have signed this player? If you sign this player for $300,000, will you get, let's call it, let's say you're going to pay in advertising for brand awareness on the year, maybe it's 50, 100 grand or something. So if you're paying somebody 300K, will you get at least like 200K back in revenue based on the spend that you have on the player. Because
Mm.
then, maybe 100K goes to brand awareness that you were going to spend anyways, and this is a good way for you to do that maybe. So this is like what I think the brands should be looking at. I don't know if they are. I'm hoping some of them are, because it's it's a big cost. It's a big cost to get these players that maybe move paddles, maybe don't move paddles. You know, I think honestly, like when I look at, if I had a paddle brand and I were looking at players to represent the brand, I would be looking at mainly players that have big social presences, less so on like, do they play on the PPA and are they getting to the semis and finals and winning medals? It's like a little bit of visibility there, but like not really. I'd rather have like my paddle in the hands of like a Kyle Kazuto, that pickleball guy that I know is getting hundreds of thousands of views on his videos and has a big community that likes him and follows him and watches his coaching. To me, that's way more valuable than having a player that gets to the semis of a PPA, maybe doesn't have much of a personality and doesn't have much of a social presence and doesn't move that many paddles. So I think a lot of these companies are just like, it's a little bit of like keeping up with, I don't know. A lot of it might be kind of like ego driven and like wanting to have a player to say you have a player versus actually looking at the economics of like, does this actually make sense? Because I think in most cases, it probably doesn't make sense. And outside of maybe, I don't know, call it like 5 to, I don't know, 10's too high, but call it like 5 players in the world that can actually have an impact on people buying that paddle. Outside of that, I think it's pretty minimal. So
Yeah.
I'd be curious on the ROI of some of these players because I don't think it's there.
I mean, I don't know how much Cypic paid QD, but I definitely think if you're talking about ROI on a player,
I think
Cypic
QD's there.
QD is
QD in
definitely
Asia's
there.
there. QD in Asia's there. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because no one outside of Vietnam knew what Cypic was this time
Yeah.
last year. But because they signed QD, they made that splash. They were able to be legitimized in the eyes of a lot of people. And now outside of QD, like in the Philippines, they easily have the most, if I'm not mistaken, they have the most signed athletes now in the
Yeah.
Philippines. And of course, in Vietnam, they have a ton. Malaysia, they have a ton. And they've used that identity of having QD as part of their brand to the point that they were able to expand and become their own legitimate brand on now. And will QD leaving hurt them? Probably, but not nearly as much
Mm,
as.
I don't think it will. I think it probably helps. It'll probably help their bottom line, to be honest. I mean, they're probably freeing up a lot of money and like a goal achieved, right? Like they have good brand penetration in a bunch of different countries now. And like you said, like in the Philippines, I know there's a ton of players that are signed, and now you have, those players are great brand representatives in the Philippines, right? Like just because Q has a paddle with Cypic, maybe at the beginning, that's why somebody in the Philippines would buy it, but now they're going to buy it because they know a lot of the athletes that have their own paddles in the Philippines. So I think it was a
Yeah.
great like launching point for Cypic. And I think it's probably, I don't know how that relationship ended or the contract just ended and they decided not to continue it, whatever it may be. But to me, that's like the way to do it is I think they did it right in respect to like, signing a big player, especially in Asia, and then leveraging that player for the year, but also making sure that you really penetrate the different countries and get your own players there, because now you have good coverage across Asia. And even if you lose QD, which, they did, or maybe they didn't want, to continue the relationship, whatever it was, they now are a established, legitimate paddle brand in Asia. So it worked.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And now there's rumors of QD going to Wika, which again, like Cypic, this is the first time hearing about the brand, not being from Vietnam. But yeah, if they're getting QD, it's clearly going to be a springboard for them expanding outside of Vietnam, expanding throughout the rest of Asia. And by this time next year, probably going to have seen a few Wika paddles, probably going to have tried a few. And it's all going to be thanks to QD.
No, all thanks to Bao. Bao's the
All
real
thanks to
star.
QD, for sure. I don't. Oh man, that was
You'd like
hilarious.
you'd like to spend time with some Bao. I was in India. He apparently like fell and like either broke his wrist or sprained his wrist or something. It's like, Bao, what are you doing? You're too young to be falling on a pickleball court and breaking your wrist. You're not 75 years old. You're like 15. Like, get it together, buddy.
Is he fit? He's not 15.
I think he's 15. He acts like he's 40. He acts like he's my age, but he's 15.
Is he 15? That's wild. But yeah, the
Yeah.
first clip I ever saw of him, he's 14, apparently. My bad.
I think he just had his birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday, Bao.
oh, his Instagram post literally says, "Yes, I am 15." Okay, fair enough.
Yes, I am 50.
That he answered the question for me. But yeah, the first clip I ever saw of him was him body bagging his own brother. That was hilarious. Top
Oh, I
tier.
remember that. I remember that. Yeah. It was great.
It was not sorry, Nasty Nelsoning his own brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so moving on to the other transfer rumor. So that's QD. The you have Anna Lee, who leaving Paddle Tech. People are theorizing Franklin, Nike. Zane mentioned leaning.
Yeah, I think Zane's just making random stuff up, but that would be shocking to me. That would be really shocking because she's got zero Asia presence and she's spent, I think, very like I don't know if she spent any time over here.
People want her to come here.
Well, of course, of course. I mean, talk about anybody that can move paddles. She can move paddles, and the fact that I mean, did anybody fumble the bag more than Paddle Tech in respect to not leveraging what you have? Like you have AL as your like primary player, and like you don't see it. You don't go out and see anybody playing with her paddle. Not really. So the fact that they didn't like push that much harder is insane to me. I don't know how much they paid her. Probably a good amount. Probably not nowhere near what she's gonna get based on this round. But the fact that you didn't have like every girl in the world playing with an AL paddle is crazy to me because they should be. Like she's one of the
Yeah,
ones
and I
that
think
can move paddles.
yeah, a big hurdle though for Battletech was that they're made in the U.S. Just exporting that to other countries, like in the U.S. Of course, their presence is strong, but outside,
Not
like
not
I mean,
really, not really,
not
dude.
of course the other
It's
two
really
brands.
not. Like you don't go to a public park and see people playing with paddle tech. Maybe you did like 5 years ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, but even outside Asia, like just from a business perspective, Battletech was one of the brands we considered bringing in to the Philippine market, but the cost with it being shipped from the US was it's just way too high.
This
And I
is
think
why you don't manufacture in the U.S., people. Because
yeah,
Migo, I don't know if you know, but like it's actually a real thing. It's like
yeah.
for the U.S. consumer, like, the U.S. consumer wants things that are like if it's got made in the U.S. on it, people are more likely to buy it. Like that's a
Yeah,
good like marketing selling point, right? So it is interesting to see that like that actually hurts. That's actually hurting them in respect to international sales, global sales.
yeah. Of if we're so you guys are surrounded by an ocean on both sides. It gets very
So are you, bro.
expensive to
So
ship
are
stuff.
you. So are all of us. So every country's surrounded by the ocean.
No, they're not.
Well, not. Okay, fine, fine, fine.
China
So you
is
certainly are.
connected to a whole bunch of countries, and then it gets shipped through land first, and then it goes to the ocean. So it's
Yeah,
way
yeah, yeah.
closer. It's like an hour flight from the Philippines to I think the closest would be like Vietnam. So that if the
Yeah,
packages are or just the port in Hong Kong,
yeah.
everything is so much closer together. You guys are really far away. I don't think you guys realize
It's
just how
fair.
far away. It's like an 18-hour flight to the US from here, like straight. So I'm
Yeah,
sure your
it's
flight to
far.
the US took a while, but
Yes.
yeah. So I do think leaning is interesting though, because BattleTech, like you were saying, ALW was paid not as much as she's worth, but in reality, what battle brand can pay her what she's worth without giving up like equity,
I think Franklin probably. Franklin's a big company. I mean,
with or without equity?
I'd be shocked if she got equity with Franklin. Franklin's, I mean, they're just like a Toby Sports, baby. They've just been around for a long time. They've been around. I think Franklin's been around since the 40s. Adam's grandfather started it, and then Adam's dad ran it. Adam runs it now. But yeah, equity would not. I don't think that would make any sense for Franklin. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening. But I do know Franklin. Franklin is one of the few companies that is big enough outside of just pickleball. Like they're a huge player
Yeah.
in a lot of areas in sports, and they would have the ability to pull somebody like Anna Lee. Other companies might also, but I think it would be a much tougher financial burden than on Franklin.
Yeah. And I think the reason why people are throwing out brands like Nike and leaning is just because people are expecting her to get the biggest bag in pickleball history at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe like yeah, and people just don't think a pickleball brand can offer that. But then Nike, they haven't been good at making equipment before. It's
No,
very, very risky for them to try and do it again, especially by signing someone as big as AL.
no, that's too much risk to like make a paddle for Nike. I think unless it's just like a kind of a fun thing to make a performance paddle as Nike. I don't think that's a game they want to play, in my opinion. I think they're obviously the leader in the world in footwear and apparel. That makes sense. I could see that happening, and then she goes with a true paddle company for the paddle. And I think for her, you have to break it up, right? I don't think you're going to find a company that's going to be able to pay her what she needs for the paddle plus footwear and apparel. I
Yeah.
know she had Fila for a while, and I think even in tennis, Fila's dropped a lot of players, or a lot of players aren't with Fila anymore. So
I'm not sure
I
that contract expired yet, though. I don't think
yeah
it's yeah.
yeah maybe not. I'm not sure, but yeah it'll be cool to see where she goes. I think she's one of the few players that if the brand uses her properly, can move a lot of paddles and can be a great representative of the brand if they use her properly. I think Paddle Tech just wasn't equipped to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the last one would be the last major transfer would be Gabe Tardio. So, he's leaving Pickle, which again, very, very small brand. Just
Yeah.
I guess they're lucky that they had him on this last year of his contract while he had the year that he had.
Yeah.
So, being super successful. But now his values shot up. He's looking a big brand needs to be the one to acquire him, and someone needs to work up that fork up the cash. And there's rumors going around. One of them is Facolos, which
Yeah.
for those outside the Asian market is the second biggest Vietnam brand behind Saipic, not too far off. And
Yeah.
they have a lot of Asian pros signed. One of them being, if I'm not mistaken, Yufei, who one of the top, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, one of the top Asian singles players. That would be interesting. It would be Facolos trying to replicate what Saipic did with QD, except going for a more US based pro. But of course,
Yep.
Gabe gets eyes on him, making it to the finals of basically every PPA.
Yep.
But
And what this would actually do is like an Asian brand like Facolos going after Gabe. What this would do is it's a different strategy than like a Saipic, really, because Saipic, you're going to use Q to really focus on the Asian market, especially with Q not being on the tour, on the PPA tour anymore, and doing more international stuff and doing more stuff in Asia. Like that was, let's grow the brand in Asia. Getting a Tardio on is Facolo saying, okay, now we're going to get a US pro that plays in the US primarily, and we're going to go after the US market. So I think this is probably the most interesting play to me from all the players and brands, because we're seeing a relatively new brand that's done a really good job in Asia say, hey, we're going to take that next step and go after the massive US market, which is more established, but you have a Facolos paddle in Gabe's hands, and you're seeing Gabe on Pickleball TV every weekend because he's getting to the men's doubles final. It's a good play. If you want to go after the U.S. market, I think Gabe is probably one of the best value plays you can do in respect to what he was getting with Pickle. I'm not sure, but he's not going to demand an insane number, and where he's going to be ranked and the consistency he's going to have, especially if he's playing with Ben still, is you could pretty much guarantee, a semi or a final in most men's doubles PPAs, which if that's the case, you're going to get a lot of eyeballs on your paddle in the US. So I think really good strategic play by Facolos if that's where they're going and that's where Gabe ends up, because for a company that wants to enter the U.S. market, I feel like he's an undervalued asset and somebody that could actually move paddles for the U.S. market as well as the Asian market, because you're going to see players and consumers in Asia. Facolos still has obviously a huge presence in Vietnam and Asia as a whole, and now they're going to be able to say, hey, we've got a Tardio who's getting to the finals of every PPA, and that's also going to grow the brand in Asia. So it's to me, it's a really interesting, smart play, and I think if they do get him, it's one of the better signings that I've seen.
Yeah, because I mean, the usual people who make finals are all pretty much signed by the big US brands. Like
Yeah,
it was really a rarity that Gabe was up there with a still relatively small brand with Pickle
yeah,
that you'd think that someone would have swooped in and got him already. But if Facolos really is able to swoop in and get this deal done, it's definitely gonna be a step in making them one of the leaders in Asia for sure.
100%. Yep.
And the US market expansion too, which Cypic actually was not able to do very well. I think there was something issue with the pricing, like it ended up being significantly more expensive in the US than it was.
To sell in the U.S. Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. It's like uh, you are seeing like how much is a Facolos or a Cypic paddle going for in Asia? Like,
I think
is it similar pricing as like a Selkirk or a Yola in the States?
I think in Vietnam they sell for around. Sorry, I'm going to use pesos first, then I'll convert. They sell for around 11,000 pesos in Vietnam. When it arrives here, its SRP is around 15. But the problem with the Philippines being so close to Vietnam is that while the SRP is 15, I know that there are people just buying it in bulk in Vietnam,
Yeah,
bringing it
bring it over. Yeah,
in a suitcase over here, then selling it for like 13. And I think in the
yeah.
US it was selling for the full 280. So
Okay.
like closer to 18,000 just to give scale. So
Yeah,
like 200,
yeah.
250, 280 pretty much.
Got it. Got
Talking
it.
US.
I mean, I think we need to get to a place where, like, you've seen a big campaign. This is a little off topic, kind of, but we've seen a lot of campaigns about, you know, fake paddles and knockoffs and people buying stuff off AliExpress or Temu or whatever from the States and it being like a fake Yola or fake Selkirk, whatever it is. And honestly, I think a fair argument on this is that paddles are too expensive. They are. The markup's crazy. I mean, you're getting these paddles made for 20, 25 bucks. Like that's factory cost, period. And you're selling them for close to 300 bucks. So what do you expect people to do, right? Of course they're going to buy knockoffs. Especially if you're an amateur, if you're a 4.0 or a 3.5 and it plays close enough, like why not? So I think paddles need to come down to like under 200 US. Otherwise, it's just like it's going to continue to be a huge problem, the knockoffs, because you're just pricing so many people out of paddles. It's just not, and it's not like a paddle, like a tennis racket at least lasts a long time. These paddles won't last long. You're going to have to you're going to give new one every few months if you play a lot. So it's not sustainable.
Yeah, my brother literally showed me that the Babolat Pure Arrow is like cheaper than it's only like 15K pesos. It's
Yeah.
cheaper than like 9%
Yeah.
of the paddle,
It's
which is
crazy.
crazy when that's the best,
It's,
basically the best tennis racket on the market.
I remember, how much is 15,000 pesos? What would that convert to?
230.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was playing tennis, like in college and stuff, I just remember like a tennis racket brand new from Babel. I played with the Pure Drive, um, would be like 179. And I'm like, I thought that was like expensive. And obviously that was a while ago. But at the same time, it's only like crept up to like 230, even with inflation and everything, and, costs and everything going up too. So the fact that pickleball paddles are little pieces of plastic that are much more expensive than that it's crazy. It's crazy. And they don't last. Like I could get a tennis racket and as long as I don't beat it to crap, like that thing could last me a couple of years, So
Yeah, and I think you're seeing a shift in the market too. I've been I've been on the paddler view side of YouTube for a while for the last few weeks, and just seeing like how many comments are saying that's too expensive for a Gen 3. I'm not paying that much if it's not foam. Like people are realizing that
yeah.
the paddles do wear down, especially Gen 3 paddles. And if you're paying 280 for a paddle that's gonna core crush, it's just not worth it. But in my head, I'm also thinking the surface is still gonna wear down. Like you're buying a full foam paddle, the grit's gonna be
Yeah.
gone. The time would have
Yeah.
taken the core crush anyways. So it
100%.
it's unless someone finds a solution for that, it's just not. It's not something needs to change with the pickleball paddles for sure.
On the equipment and gear topic right now, this might be a little bit of I don't know, a controversial take, but I haven't played PPA events in the States, right? So I haven't had to play with the lifetime ball. Like when the PPA came to Malaysia, I think we played with a Yola ball,
Yeah,
which played very similar to like a Franklin, to be honest. So being here in Florida, I was in South Florida last week, so got practice with Andre, who I used to partner with, Diescu, and then his coach Alex, and then Paris Todd, who he's playing mixed with this upcoming year. So I got in and drilled with them, and we're drilling with the lifetime ball, and it's the first time I played with it. And even like holding it and like looking at it, it's like this. It feels like a little toy. It's like this doesn't feel like a professional pickleball. And like playing with it, I was shocked because it plays so different than the typical balls that I'm used to playing with. Because it's like to me the plastic feels different. It's smoother. It doesn't get scuffed up nearly as much as a typical ball, and it does not grab on the paddle like a typical like forehand roll. For me, the ball is not rotating like with topspin. It's like kind of knuckling and barely moving. It played so different than what I expected. I thought it would be at least similar, close to the same kind of playability. It was, to me, night and day. It felt like a foreign ball to me. The one positives that the guys, kept saying is that like, yeah, but the ball doesn't go out of round. It stays very consistent. You know exactly how it's going to bounce. I don't care. Like if I can't grab the ball and get spin on it, this is weird. Like this is terrible. That's like the best part of pickleball is like being able to like spin the ball. And you're able to see some of it, like some of the people, especially in singles, you're able to get more spin. But in doubles, like even like I played men's games with Andre and Fed and J Dub, and even with their shots though, like when they're hitting drops and they're hitting topspin drops, it's not really like the ball's not rotating. It's not rotating with topspin. It's like they've had to adjust their shots and strokes to compensate for the ball. It's a different stroke. I mean, I would need like a couple weeks of like nonstop training to like get used to it. I was just shocked at how differently it played, and in my opinion, not in a good way. It was not. I hate that ball. I hate that ball with a passion.
Knowing what you spin your
I think it's
shots, imagine.
I think it's an absolute trash ball. Absolute trash.
I mean, that's why it's so controversial. I think I've seen so many people say so many different things about it. I've heard it bounces higher. I've heard it. Like, well, did you feel like it bounced higher? Because that was like the main thing I heard about the ball.
I didn't really notice that, but to me, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're speeding up off the bounce, you have to go for a full bag. You can't like my shots, you want to be like deceptive and like be able to hold it and keep the ball in the paddle a little bit longer. And the ball just doesn't grab. It just like will slide right off. It's weird, dude. It's not, and yeah, I hated it. I think it's the dumbest ball in the world.
That's getting turned into a reel. Yeah. I mean, so I'm curious what's gonna happen when that ball hits Asia, or if the
ball should never hit Asia. Like, the ball should hit the bottom of the ocean and stay there. Tie some dumbbells to like all of the boxes and barrels that those balls come in, and just let the ocean take it.
Man. Yeah. No,
Don't you guys dare become an exclusive distributor for lifetime balls. My God, please. Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it, then only practice with it. Then when we play, that's the only ball I'm gonna have on me.
God, I won't. I won't play. I'll retire. I will not play for fun. I will not play for competitively. I will just not play pickleball if that's the ball I have to play with. It's terrible.
Good thing you're.
But it was fun to play games with those guys. It's been a while since I've seen J Dub and Fed. And yeah, just good dudes. Really fun to see them. I actually saw Paris the day that that fine came down. Like same morning, like we were drilling, they had just announced like the $50K fine. And you always wonder, like, okay, is this just like whatever, a slap on the wrist that they're just gonna like deduct from her salary, or like they're gonna figure out a way, like they had to publicly make this a thing, but they're gonna like figure out a way to smooth it over so it's like good player relations. And no, she was like legitimately like upset and pissed. So real fine, real money. I think they're making her sit out the Masters event as well coming up in.
Yeah. She gonna miss
Palm Springs. Yeah. So yeah, no, she not stoked on it. Not stoked on the
Yeah. I think the fine would have been more well received by the court of public opinion if what happened to the other three players was also just a fine.
Yeah, we also saw that Food mentioned that the appeal that they put in got denied. Well, shocking. Who would have thought like that the court that banned them would deny the appeal, right? So it's like
Yeah, so they're gonna have to take it up with an actual court if they want to move things
Yeah, if
forward.
they want to go that route, I mean, again, it's gonna. Do you want to spend the money to fight it? You know, do you want to go against Tom Dundon's attorneys and lawyers and like, yeah, it's like, do you want to fight a billionaire? Is it worth it? I mean, it just kind of sucks that that's the position you're put in, right?
Yeah, and then I mean the PPA is just so confusing. I'm still trying to figure out why Connor Perdot like QD's post.
It's a troll, probably.
You don't think he's coming back? You know, there are rumors about that too. Goes back to the PPA.
No,
They lift his ban.
I don't think
He's too valuable. I don't know. I
they're
could
trying to keep costs down, man. They're trying to get rid of contracts, not add them. And they wouldn't like he wouldn't get the kind of contract he was on before. It would be, yeah, it would not be the same.
That's fair. That's fair. So yeah, lots happened this week. So much to talk about. I think this is our longest episode yet. Talked about equipment, talked about tournaments, talked about contracts, whole bunch. And if you guys are trying to spend your Christmas money on, you know, from what the things you receive from the lazy gifters who just gave cash, if you do want an equipment, a paddle for less than $200, don't forget about the Ram Sports. They got the Typhoon, the same paddle that Rob uses in tournaments.
Easily the best paddle, honestly, for the price. I would honestly say that.
Heard it here first. Genuinely a very, very great paddle. And Ram Sports is just gonna keep on pushing things like this. They also got apparel. So shout out Ram Sports. Thanks for sponsoring this episode. Thanks for sponsoring us. And of course, thank you again to Sports Predict, our title sponsor for this show. They always have great events that they're featuring. Right now it's the off season for a lot of the sports that they follow. But there's still NBA games, NFL games. If you wanna have some fun with the things with the sports that you're watching, you want to predict on some things without having to worry about gambling or any addiction or any money like that. Sports Predict is absolutely great for that. And of course, when the pickleball tournaments come back, we will be covering those too and be having Sports Predict pages on those. So thanks so much, Sports Predict. And after a 42-minute episode, holy moly, we are Netflix. That's it for this week on Asia Pickleball Insider, powered by Sports Predict.
See you guys next week.
See you guys.